Hey buddy, how's it going today? It's Frankie here, and I wasn't intentionally planning to make a video, but I thought about making a video like this today, and that is comparing football achievements. Now, I know I've already done it, I've already spoken about this, but I want to include a few more things in there too, make like a part 2. And I know I've talked about the United City treble, Arsenal Invincibles, the City Centurions, and Chelsea conceding 15 goals. Now, I'm still going to keep those into the mix on this one. I'm trying my best, so bear with me on here. It's going to be hard to explain for me in this one because it's going to be a lot to talk about. So yeah, I don't want to make it too confusing. But I also want to add in the City winning 4 in a row. And I want to add in the Celtic quintuplet, right? And if you don't know about that, it's they did win like 5 trophies in like 1966, 1967. They won 5 trophies. I thought it was the quad that they won, and I was thinking maybe it's their community shield. It actually isn't. It's all just trophies in that one. And I know what people are going to say. Why are you talking about Celtic? That was ages ago. Why are you talking about them for? They're in the Farmers League. Okay, I get that, right? The league is, I can understand that it's not the greatest. It's quite poor, not the best quality. But you got to give Celtic respect. A club of their size and with how their club is in the league that they're in, to win 5 trophies in a specific season is outstanding. And I don't think they get enough respect. I really don't. I don't think they get enough respect. I know people say, well, they wouldn't do good in the Premier League. It doesn't matter, right? They do have a bit of history. Maybe not as how my team is City or Arsenal or Chelsea. Not those type of teams, right? It's more like they're a unique Scottish club, and I think people forget that achievement that they have. That should be more spoken about. And yeah, I'm going to mention them into the mix, and I might end up ranking these anyway. It's going to be difficult. I forgot what I said for the other one, if I remember correctly. I've got to try and remember, to be honest. That's going to be difficult. I'll probably give this, if whatever it was in the first one, I might change up on this one a little bit. It's not a rating or anything. I'm just going to change it up and see what happens, because I'm adding more to it, so it could change. Now, people always talk about, City being in front of all, they cheat and all that stuff. Okay, I understand, right? They did break, FFP somewhere around here, and yeah, fair enough. But that's not really down to. Yeah, you could say they bought their success because they wasn't huge like 20 years ago. I understand that. But at the same time, yeah, the owners have done well. But also, it's what the players have done. Their players, yeah, they bought that, basically. So obviously it makes them easier to get all these new strong players and make the team stronger. But you got to make it's still a phenomenal achievement, right? I'm not saying Pep is greater than Ferguson, because Ferguson built my club and he also, he made Aberdeen win a Super Cup, European Super Cup. That's astonishing. And that was the last team to stop Rangers Celtic from winning the league. Could be Hearts this season. But you got to admit, what Pep has done there, there's 3 things actually that he done that Ferguson couldn't do. And yeah, Ferguson done it the correct way because it was more realistic. The teams that were facing was probably a bit more harder back then. But it just felt like City, obviously, it doesn't feel evenly matched because the size, not the size of the club, but the ownership is extremely rich. They can just buy anybody left, right and centre. So that's what happens when you put money into a club like the owners have. They're going to be successful at that. But you got to admit though, it's still incredible. It's still incredible success. And I'm quite surprised Ferguson has never done anything like Pep has. Apart from like the treble, and he done a 3-peat. I was going to include a 3-peat, but then it's winning 3 league titles in a row is more common. That's happened before. But what City have done winning 4 in a row, that's incredible. Yeah, they were always going to do a 3-peat eventually. I mean, look at the players that they're always going to do it. But to do 4 in a row, even that if it was possible for them. And Pep's team made it possible. You got to admit, you can't just keep using the charges forever because all they'll do is probably get a points deduction. Like the players technically earned that. They did play for that as well. It's not like they just robbed the trophy or whatever it is. I understand they did buy it. Yeah, I'm sure they can agree with it too. But what the players done is just incredible. They were always going to do trouble. That's the one thing about the City team. They're quite predictable. You know when they're going. You know how. You know they're going to win something like that eventually. And he also made them win 6 trophies in a year, which is sensational. You know, I know Ferguson's team could match up, but Ferguson was a bit more realistic. Let's admit that. You know, everyone says that he cheated. He didn't. You know, we also had decisions go against us, but that's how football works. Really, it can work like that. Sometimes it is rigged. Yeah, you know, it can be rigged, but it doesn't say me the team took part in cheating. I don't believe in that at all. And that's why I think the 4P for me is up there, right? Because it's winning 4 league titles in a row, especially in the Premier League, is wow. I don't think it can happen again. You know, I can see like the next team winning 2 titles in a row. That's coming. 3, it can happen. Ferguson's done it with us twice. I was one of the unfortunate ones not to watch football when he last done the 3P. You know, which to be fair annoys me till this day. It more annoys me I didn't see us win the Champions League. But that annoys me. But you know, I still see my team win the league, which you know not a lot of people, you know, have witnessed. Like, you know, that's the thing. You know, that's a shame right there. But 4 in a row is magical. Let's admit that. That's up there. Now everyone says the treble's a good achievement. I was thinking that. I'm thinking that in my head now. I'm thinking of it right now, and I'm just like, treble's been done. Like, yeah, it's tough to do because you're winning 3 competitions in a season. That's phenomenal. That's a lot of achievements right there. It's better than doing the Invincibles. And yeah, Arsenal fans, you know what? I don't care what Arsenal fans say. There's some that are like, I don't know. I get it. Back then, I'm sure it was good to have unbeaten record. But in order to just be unbeaten, you could just draw half the games. I know they keep saying, oh, you always talk like that. Or rival fans always sit and downplay it. Yeah, it's good to be unbeaten. Don't get me wrong. But then, it doesn't sound good when you could just get draws here and there. You know, I'd rather have more wins than just be unbeaten. That's just my stance on it. And Invincibles is not as good as people may sound like. To be a real Invincible, you have to actually win 2 competitions unbeaten. That's proper Invincible. That's proper Immortals. Like, all you did was just go Premier League season unbeaten, but then nothing else happened after that. You know, so that's why I don't rate it as highly. You know, same with the 15 goals conceded. I think I said some of this in my other video, right? I might add something to it. But only conceding 15 goals is tough. You really have to have a good defence. Imagine just sitting there watching, you're just taking a lot of 1 and 2-0s and 3-0s without conceding. That's tough to do because you can't concede a goal. That's more tougher than the Invincibles. Invincibles, you can concede goals and not be defeated. Right? To concede just 15 goals is madness. I've seen teams have a great defence in the league and concede 20 goals. That's just goes to show how tough it is to do. You'd have to make sure your team doesn't just have a good attack. You just have to make sure they have to really work out to have a good defensive structure. You need a proper leader in that sort of team. I wouldn't rate it higher than the Invincibles. No, I wouldn't rate it higher than the Treble. Sorry, I wouldn't rate it higher than the Treble because Treble you just have to win 3 competitions. That actually is more higher than the Invincibles and only conceding 15 goals. The Centurions is only just a league type of thing. I rate it in the middle. It's because I'd rather watch my team win a lot of games. Yeah, I don't want to see my team lose often. And yeah, I would take draws instead of losing. You know, that's what I kind of like about United this season. They haven't lost as many games as they did last season. That's fine. I'm happy with not losing often. But I would want to win more games. Win 4-3s, win 5-3s, win what these amount of games. I rather take more wins because they make it easier for you to get closer to win the title. More wins, the more pressure you put on the team in second. If you didn't get less wins, you're going to put more pressure on yourself. So this is where I feel like that's a great achievement. And you get some Arsenal fans that say, oh, Invincibles is more better than that. Really? You rather take just drawing more games just as much as winning than actually getting more points on the board? I rather take the more points. You know, I know, they would be like, oh, you would trade your treble in the side for the Invincibles. Why would I want to trade in 3 trophies for 1? I don't get it. That the mindset and logic is not correct. I just understand that. And yet they'll downplay the 4-peat like it's nothing. I'm a United fan, but seeing that, I kind of wish Ferguson did 5 in a row, 4 in a row at least. He was close to doing so. He was really close. He was close to doing like a 3-peat. If it wasn't for that Aguero goal, he would have done a 3-peat. I need to witness my team win 3 titles in a row. Madness. That's how close he was. So that's phenomenal to win title after title like that. That's consistency at its best. And rival fans downplay it like, it's like, oh, they bought it, oh, it's not useful, no one cares. Yeah, I'm not bothered if they win stuff because I don't know many City fans. They're not as popular and big like that as my club is. Like a Liverpool, like an Arsenal, like a Chelsea is. But it's still an achievement that I wish my team had at least. Well, I wish my team had history of. Now, yeah, fair enough. Regardless, if they would have done that one before I was born, I would have been like, okay, that's still good achievement, good history to have. We've only won a 3, we were close to doing like 4 in a row, even 5 possibly somewhere. So all these Real fans downplay like it's not valuable. I definitely wish we had a 4-peat. Even wish we had that one every trophy in a year. I kind of wish that. And sorry Celtic fans, I will talk about yours next. Yeah, going back into the Celtic one too, winning that many trophies as well. That's up there with winning 4 titles in a row. Because to win every single competition, it sounds damn near impossible. And I mean impossible to win every trophy. That's like FIFA. When you put on the easy difficulty, you put on that medium difficulty and you win everything. And people be like, oh yeah, it's nothing, yeah, but win? Like Celtic, I've seen Celtic win trebles in that, division. It definitely isn't easy for them to get like a quad as people think, even like a quintuple. That's phenomenal. You can't really downplay that. That's damn near ridiculous achievement. I mean, unless the players were high or something, then that's a different story. But no one really gives that achievement any more credit. They really don't. I don't care what year it was. I don't care if football was different back then. To win 5 trophies, to win every single trophy in the season, you really got to put on the highest achievement. Because there's nothing that can get higher than that. Right? The 4-peat's up there. Right? With winning like back to back trophy, Premier Leagues, like league titles, you could say, whatever country it's at, in Wales or Scotland, whatever it is. That's madness. You would see something like that from Celtic in like Monday football now winning 4 in a row. I think they won that how many? 8 in a row, 8 titles in a row. I think. That's before Rangers won it again. So yeah, that's quite obvious because that league is a bit easy for them. I didn't need a bet there. Excuse me, now I have. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, Hearts and Rangers maybe end up winning the league before Celtic this season. But yeah, that league is just poor quality. There's a difference. But the Premier League, I can't see any other team doing 4 in a row. I just can't. I think that's a rarity. And that explains why they didn't win it last season, because they won 4 in a row. And somebody else needed to win it. And like I predicted last season, I knew Liverpool were going to win it. As I predicted it before the season started. I said there'll be someone other than City not winning it. It would have to be Liverpool. So yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, and I know I'm not getting a Celtic fan coming in appreciating it. Yeah, that club should be respected a bit more because of that history. People don't realize. I had to research it because I was like, I definitely heard they won the quad. When I saw they won the quintuplet, I looked at it and I thought, this doesn't get talked about. What? But because they're Celtic, that doesn't get talked about. Come on. Let's give some of these teams some credit. I mean, I know there's probably other teams that have done something similar. Fair enough. I'm only going to compare it to British clubs. I'm going to go and talk about a Spanish, Italian, German football teams. That's going to be extremely long. I want to do it based on British clubs. But I thought I had to add this in. Now where would I rank these? I don't think I did a ranking. I think I might have done, but I probably did it a bit differently. Let me go with the ranking right here. Right. So, well, number one is the Celtics quintuplet, right? That's up there, winning every competition in a season. That, I don't think anything is better than that. Second one is doing 4 in a row, right? That, for me, I don't think there's anything that can. That the only thing that's topped that is a Celtic achievement, but I can't see anything else getting higher than that. That's you got to make sure that's phenomenal. Like, title after title after title is relentless. That's the word I would call it in that sense, relentless. Third one, I'll probably put the United treble in '99. That's gonna be the third one. I feel like to win 3 competitions in a row, not wait, 3 competitions a season. You could, if you want to word that way, I mean, I won't say in a row, but similar, I guess. But 3 competitions a season, yeah. And we also had a team. And besides, it was a bit difficult. People say, "Oh, Ferguson cheated that season." Yeah, but the league was closer. So how did we cheat if it was more closer? We had to face tougher teams. Not really much went our way that season. You know what we did. Obviously, you had to have luck by your side. That has to come into it as well. But I just felt because we were the first team to do that treble, and I was over a year old, so I had no clue about those type of players we had back then. I'd already had a clue about Ronaldo if I watched it back then. Like, that probably the first time I would watch United would be like probably 2006 or 7. So yeah, but look, that we had that our treble comes third. Yeah, you got to, the first team to do it. You give them, give my team at least a credit for doing it first time. So you got to put them in third at least, in top 3. Fourth, oh, this is a tough one, ain't it? I'm gonna say the City treble. I have to put the trebles together because it's still a great achievement to win 3 trophies in a season, and for City to do it as well. I mean, it was coming. It was an obvious treble coming. You could tell by mouth the team that they had. Well, I know it was only a few years ago, but yeah, obviously some players leave, don't they? So, but especially the season that they had back then, the goals that were scoring, the team that, I know the team's overpowered, but to dismantle the teams that did in the Champions League is also a great achievement. It's just brilliant overall. You got to have the trebles together. But the difference is though, they had the money to but they had the money to do it, and they also had the manager to do it. They also had the proper players back then to do it. So it's obvious trouble coming. I don't think anyone saw that United 99 team doing the treble, because they faced Bayern Munich in the final, and we beat them with that Solskjaer goal. So yeah, should have been Bayern's trophy, but it was our one at the end of the day. So yeah, that's why basically. But with that City one, I think everyone expected City to do it. I just find the way they were playing, it was coming. The fourth one, no, that is the fourth. Yeah, the fourth one is that. So the fifth one is, I would probably say, I'm going with the City Centurions. I think because of the amount of wins they've had that season, they just kept winning and winning. I know they've had a few losses. I think we are one of the teams to win at their ground. I think we're the only team to win at their ground that season. I think they've only had 2-3 losses that season. And it's just phenomenal how they kept winning and winning. It was like, that was relentless as well. This is relentless when they won 4 titles in a row. That was astonishing for them. So, got to give them credit for that one as well. So yeah, so basically the top 4, I've got the top 4, haven't I? So Celtics won. So I remember the Celtics won, the 4-peat, the 2 trebles, Centurions. Okay, the 6th one now is Chelsea only conceding 15 goals, which for me, I rank that there because they just have a good defense. That's all I needed for them to win the title, was having a good defense, and that is tough to do. That's why I was tossing between putting them above the Centurions or putting them lower. I'll put them slightly lower because it's just a good defense that they only just good structure, but that is quite tough too. That's quite tough to put in because you want to go with more wins, but then you also want to be good defensively. It could be a bit of both, but I'll put them there. I think last but not least is the Invincibles. I don't mean this in a hateful way, but I think this gets overhyped by Arsenal fans too much, to the point where I think, you know, it's not as good. It's not as good as an achievement as they make out to, because you got to think, oh yeah, they haven't lost. They didn't lose a single league game. But if you really wanted to prove you're immortal, win another competition. I think that would definitely rank you up a bit higher in that department. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. And yeah, it is a golden trophy, fair enough. But you don't really have any other achievements apart from that. That's why, if you had one defeat in that season, you would have no great achievements apart from winning the most doubles in English football. That's what I heard. So well, you would have no other achievements. It's like you haven't won the Champions League. You can't even win the Europa League. You haven't even won the World Cup, which, to be fair, that's half for me. I'm not too bothered about that, but at the same time, it'd be good to win it again. You haven't even done a treble. So the only thing you've done is a Premier League and FA Cup in the Premier League. That's all you've done ever since the Premier League started. So that's something you always have to hold on to. You know. But yeah, that's just my opinion of it. If you disagree with anything I said, you could just comment down below. But yeah, I hope I haven't missed anything out, because I will have to be hashtagging all this. So there's be a lot of work and effort being put into it. But yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure I've had disagreements and agreements with other people. But yeah, to let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure you would have something different to say about it. I'm sure you would rank them differently. Just please let me know. Yeah, I don't think I'll do a part 3. There's not really much else to add, is there? So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, share what you know, subscribe and hit the notification below. So I'll see you in my next video.